Hey you guys, what's going on? My name is Ryrie the Writer. I have a very fascinating story to bring to your attention. So as you know, the Paris Olympics is in full swing. It's swinging. I feel like every time I hop on TikTok, there's like a new news story regarding the Olympics in Paris, just stating like what's happening so far. So as we do know that it's so fascinating too. This is so interesting. So in Paris, they don't have AC units, first of all, in all the dormitories for the athletes. They're doing this because they want to lower the carbon footprint, even though they're going to be having record heat waves in Paris for the Olympics, which will be in next month, which will be in July. So that's one thing. There's also concerns over the water in Paris and the canals. The water, I believe it's been banned that no one should be swimming in the canals. It's been like that for like 100 years, but they were trying to clean the water down there. Macron, they were trying to clean the water. They spent over $1 billion filtrating this water out, and even then the water cannot get clean. Then there was a massive protest, and the protest instilled that people would poop in the water. And there's a farming protest going on in Paris as well, with the farmers and the government. Then now you have this. So this is the big news story. So the Netherlands has chosen a 29-year-old. His name is Steven van de Velde. Yeah, there we go, Velde. To represent their country in volleyball. What we did not know until recently, it was that Steven is a convicted rapist. Or I don't know how YouTube works on here, or I should just say he R-worded a child, a 12-year-old girl, back in 2014. And despite his backstory and his crime, because he is convicted. He was convicted of R-wording a young girl actually. And he had a 4-year sentence, but he only served a year of it. Despite his backstory and his back behavior, he was still allowed to be in the Olympics representing the Netherlands. Yes, this is, man, it's 2024 and this is the story. I don't even know what to say. I truly don't know what to say. I feel like with the Olympics already, there's just a lot of hot topics going on with the preparation for the Olympics. But seeing something like this just being added on, it's personally, it's quite sad. I don't know the guy. I don't know anything about him, but and this is just my personal stance. I have no sympathy personally for anyone who abuses children, whether it's sexually, physically, mentally, verbally, any of those things. Like, we should just protect children at all costs. Because, my mindset with it is that this does not just affect the child. This affects the child when the child becomes a teenager. This affects the child when the child becomes an adult, when this child becomes a middle-aged adult, when this child becomes an aged individual. This is like it's a lifetime pain that you have to deal with. But just knowing that he was still allowed to qualify for the Olympics is what's the most concerning to me. Because this kind of reminds me a little bit of a runner on the track team, on the American track team, the USA. Her name was Sha'Carri Richardson. A while ago, she was disqualified from running due to her having a small traceable amount of marijuana weed in her system. Even though the weed wasn't going to affect her running ability, because of that drug being in her system, she was not allowed to run. And it just makes me think, I'm like, okay, so if we can be so sensitive about weed, but yet we're not sensitive about those who are R-wording children, 12-year-olds. And at the time, he was 19 years old when he traveled. He stays in the Netherlands. He traveled from the Netherlands to the UK. He traveled to commit this horrible offense to a child in the UK. So we're going to be hard on those who have small amounts of weed in their system, drugs. And we can remove them. But those who have assaulted children, oh, they can join. So yeah, I'm going to read this article to you. You can tell me your thoughts down below. Cause yeah, I'm sitting here, I could not believe this story, but I'm just sitting here, I'm just digesting this. And this is just coming from a spectator on the outside. I could not imagine being the young girl, the victim, or the victim's family and friends and close associates to have seen this man, this young man, and he's Dutch, this Dutch young man still be allowed to play in spaces, though despite him having such a monstrous backstory. It's just, make it make sense for me. But yeah, I'm going to read this article to you guys. Tell me your thoughts down below, because like I said, I'm processing this. I really am, and like I said before, I don't have any sympathy for people like this. That's just me. I don't know how y'all feel, but I'm really about protecting children and making sure they're safe, and I really worry about like the next generation in the future. So anytime I see children, I'm like, we need to just bubble them in, and we need to protect children from people like this, especially if they're predators. And it said here that like he was on Facebook and he reached out to this young woman, and he traveled to go see her. It's just one of those things. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to find my way into thinking. Okay. So I'm gonna read to you guys. The article is by The Weekend Australian, and the title is Netherlands Rapist of a Girl 12 to compete at the 2024 Paris Olympics. Wow. Steven van die Velde. Interesting. The Netherlands Olympic Committee says it will approve the participation of a convicted child rapist and beach volleyballer Steven van die Velde for the Paris Olympic Games. Velde, who admitted 3 counts of sexual assault of a 12-year-old British girl. 12 years old, you guys. It's just 12. Oh my gosh, 12. When he was 19, he was a grown man. At 19, you are grown. You can't even go, man, I was in high school. No, you weren't. You have to look back that year, if you being 19, and the year where you were 18, that's 2 years in. For a 12-year-old, 12? That's like, what, 5th grade? 6th grade? So this man was a grown man on the internet talking to a 12-year-old on Facebook, knowing her age. Has passed the final selection hurdle and is set to compete under the Eiffel Tower at the Olympics following the approval of the Dutch committee known as the NOC. The International Committee says The responsibility for selection lies with the National Olympics Committee, and that it will not intervene. So the Olympics are going, hey, that has to do with the National Olympic Committee. So whatever the Dutch approved, that's what we're also supporting. It has nothing to do with us. They said, hey, he's okay. So we're going to allow this man to run in the Olympics because it was already passed. Wow, okay. However, the approval by the Netherlands has attracted condemnation from the British Olympic Committee. And damn right, I could 100% see the British Olympic Committee going, wait a minute, this man R-worded one of our people in our country, and he's being allowed to run in the Olympics, and we have knowledge of this. And they said, which it has grave concerns. Similar to the Code of Conduct rules Australian athletes have to abide by, the Team GB has disqualifying rules around safeguarding and bringing the organization into disrepute. Okay. Velde, now married and a father of a 2-year-old child, said on Wednesday, I understand that this could attract the attention of international media in the run-up to the biggest sporting event in the world. Well, of course it was. I don't know how you having such a grave travesty, something that normally people would find so much shame in, and yet you would still pursue a career that's out loud and out in the open, and you're representing a country. Man. And for him to say, I understand this could attract the attention of the international media. Of course it was. Of course it was. I mean, you could not, for the life of me, you could not for the life of me pay me enough money to broadcast myself in any degree or fashion, in any industry, in the open, with my face out there, to be the representation of a country, populace, brand, or corporation, knowing that I have been a convicted child rapist. There's no way. I'm sorry. That's just me. That is just me. I would be hiding. You wouldn't know where I lived. I would have the most bland career that ever could exist. You wouldn't hear about me. You wouldn't see me. I would be incognito for the rest of my life. I would even change my name. Yeah, you would never see me. And I would just do that for my own safety, because I tarnish my own reputation, and have such a blood smear on my my record, something like this, you wouldn't see me, because I just would not want the smoke. But something about this person, I do not know. I don't understand, and I just do not know. But him saying, I understand this could attract the attention of the international media. Of course it was. You were always going to be a spectacle. And this will always be a hot topic for him for the rest of his life, now that he has chosen to be in a career in the forefront. That's something you always have to think about. Anytime you're going to pursue an avenue on a stage, in any platform, people will look at your past. They'll do it to you. I promise you, especially in politics. They will dig up your past, looking for any indiscrepancies, any dirt, anything, and they will find it. But to have something like this, and you decided to go into the Olympics? Oy vey. Oh, oy vey. Man. The NOC has argued that Velde has undergone an intensive professional supervised trajectory of assessments and counseling since 2018, well before he was allowed back in to participate in the international beach volleyball tournaments. This man has some moxie. He truly does. He said, you know what? I'm still following my dreams. It's like Pinocchio. It's like, no matter what, I'll be a real boy. No matter what, I'm in the Olympics. I'm playing volleyball. No matter what. They can't tell me nothing. It's like the Kanye West song. They can't tell me nothing. Like, I might have to bump that song. They really can't tell me nothing. I don't care. I'm following my dreams. It's crazy. Oh my gosh. So yeah, he's met the qualification criteria for the Olympic Games, and he added that he would be in the group of the Dutch athletes who will come under the auspice of the Olympics Committee on July 4th. So he's in it. The Australian has been told that Velde continues to offer himself up for assessment and has passed all probationary and psychological checks imposed by the Dutch Volleyball Federation. Wow. And I don't think the matter of concern is his intelligence, is it even needs to be, probationary or, psychological, because the deed has already been done. I think the matter of concern is do we hold people accountable for their sins, and should it still be applicable to the present? And that's really what it is. Should his past sins, his past actions, prevent him from being in the Olympics? And that's really a huge concern. Sure, it's been a few years. It's been 10 years since he did that. He was 19. He's 29 now. But yeah, the deed has been done. He already has a victim underneath his belt. I'm not sure about the entirety of the case. I could look it up. But from what I've gathered was that he was talking to a young girl. She was 12 years old. They met on Facebook. He, ahead of time, knew her age, that she was 12 years old. And he was 19. He knew this. And he got on a flight to meet this young woman in the UK. Once her parents were gone, that's when he assaulted her. Then after he assaulted her, he went back to his country. So for me, this is premeditated. Because it takes a lot of work and planning to travel from one country to the next to meet a victim. It's all planning. This wasn't just a, hey, let's see what happens, or it's an accident. It was premeditated. He did a lot of work to meet this young woman, especially on Facebook, especially with him being 19 years old. And I can understand, sure, there's forgiveness, there is a point where he, has paid for his crimes, I guess, in sense, in terms of, for the law. Because, he did serve his time. He didn't serve the 4 years. He served 1 year of the 4. He got out. He was released. But we still cannot forget what he had done. He's a convicted R-word. A person close to the volleyballer said he knows he committed a big mistake. A big mistake? I would say a life-changing mistake. And not for him, for his victim. And this is what no one really considers. What about the young woman? She was on the internet, sure, but what about the young 12-year-old who has to live with the assault that was caused to her? So saying it's a big mistake, it's transformative. It's life-changing. This is a moment, and I'm sure in her life, a period in her life, that she can never gain back. That she has to live with the horrors of his actions for the rest of her life. And for them to kind of brush it off and just say, oh, he committed, it was just a big mistake. I think that's what just people say when they're condoning violence. Oh, it was just an accident. He didn't mean to kill her. What? You know Johnny, he just has a temper. He has flares up. That's why he hid the body. What? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Big mistake. But he has tried to satisfy every requirement to resurrect his dream of having an elite sports career. He knows this black period will be brought up every time for the rest of his life. He will have to deal with this for the rest of his life. And he competes especially in the Olympics, and he's prepared for the criticism. I feel like they're taking this to such a light degree. So odd. On Monday, the Australian had exclusively revealed that Velde had qualified for the Olympic Games, despite being convicted of child rape in March 2016. He was sentenced to 4 years jail after admitting 3 counts of R-word against a child he had met on Facebook knowing she was 12 years old. Judge Francis told him prior to coming to this country, you were training as a potential Olympian. Your hopes of representing your country now lie as a shattered dream. Okay. And that's also my point. You're representing your country and you're an R word. So what are we thinking outside about this country? I'm not denouncing this country or saying anything negative, but it's just like, this is who you've chosen to represent you in this sport. At the most elitist level, you've chosen a child R word. So it says in 2018, after being released from jail, Velde gave an interview to the Dutch broadcasters saying, I made that choice in my life when I wasn't ready. I was a teenager still figuring things out. You were a teenager? Okay, yeah, you were 19. Technically grown, you're a man. But she was a child. And I was sort of lost, and now I have so much more life experience aside from just being incarcerated. He reflected that he should have sought help. Yeah, you should have sought help, but it's too late. It's done. Any form of help would have been very... Oh my gosh, he's playing the victim here. It's like a woe is me now. Any form of help would have been very helpful. Yeah, I should have had help so I wouldn't have harmed this child. I wish I would have had it. What? You could have sought help at any moment. At 19. Maybe that's what I would have told myself to seek help. The Dutch newspaper claimed this week that the foreign media are applying pressure on the Olympic participation of the Dutch volleyball player, adding that the sex between the two was consensual. Oh, wow. Under British law, a 12-year-old cannot give consent, while in Netherlands, the same situation would have been classified as fornication. And there you go. That's all you guys need to know. I feel like this whole story has been brought to a halt with this just one sentence. Just with this one sentence alone. And this is the sentence. Under British law, a 12-year-old cannot give consent. That's British law. While in the Netherlands, the same situation would have been classified as fornication and the offense considered milder. So in Britain, it's an offense. It's major. It has reprimand. But in Netherlands, it's just purely fornication. And it has a less milder degree than it would in a different country. So this says volumes about the Netherlands and how they perceive these sorts of child actions and sex acts. Can Velde, who was convicted long ago in Great Britain for having sex, so that's basically the story, you guys. He will also have access to the Olympic Village, where 10,000 athletes will be accommodated. Wow. Currently on us in the respective veto, the athletes would be with a criminal history, including rape convictions, can represent their country. So yeah, he's allowed to represent his country, even though he has this conviction. In Australia, athletes have to sign a code of conduct detailing any criminal history. All Paris Olympics have to sign the Athletes' Right and Responsibilities Declaration to promote human rights, peace, and clean sport. Point 7 says athletes should act as a role model. So yeah, that's all you guys need to know. So he's allowed to represent his country, even though he has a conviction underneath his belt. He just had to sign a code of conduct detailing his criminal history, and the story just got out. Wow. So he met his victim 2014. He knew her for a young age. Yeah. She was named as Miss A. The court heard he was aware of the girl's age and went to her home when her mother was out and had sex with her, taking her virginity. During the trial, it was reported that Velde wept as he heard that his victim had since self-harmed and taken an overdose. Upon his release, Velde defended his actions, saying he was not a sex monster for raping the girl. I do want to correct all the nonsense which has been written about me when I was locked up, Velde said. I did not read anything of it on purpose, but I understand that it was quite bad and that have been branded as sex monster as a pedophile. As a child, that I am not, really not. Everyone can have an opinion about me, but it's only fair if they also know my side of the story. And that's, I understand him wanting to save face and share his side, but ultimately she was 12. And you were on the internet speaking with a 12-year-old, and you were 19. There's really no way to get around that. Even if you had your side of the story, why were you talking with a 12-year-old? And surely by the age of 19, you know the difference between 12 and 19. So, yeah, I get him. I understand. It's perception. It's the viewpoints between Britain and the Netherlands and how they view this offense. And it's graver in Britain. It's milder in the Netherlands. So that's really just the take. But yeah, tell me your thoughts down below. It's a lot of excuses. It's just, we're just gonna look at 12-year-olds and just say, hear my side of the story. I wish I had help. Maybe I wouldn't have done it. This is crazy. The Olympics will be very, very interesting this year. I'm definitely going to be watching, but yeah, what's going on in the world? I have no idea. Yeah, but tell me your thoughts down below in the comment section. I would love to hear your take. What do you think about this? What do you think about Velde? Do you think he should be running in the Olympics? How do you feel about having convicted R-words participating in the Olympics? And does it matter that he even has a side of a story that he would like to share on his conduct with a 12-year-old? Does it even matter at this point? But yeah, tell me what your thoughts down below. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, send, because yeah, the story is just, man, the Olympics, man. And I'm still excited for it, not the water portions. If it has anything to do with the canals and the Paris water, I don't know about that. But yeah, I'm still excited for the running. I love track. I actually was in track and field when I was in high school, a little bit of college, but when I was in high school, I ran the, what did I do? I did the 100s, which was accidental. My coach threw me in for a few races because we didn't have enough young girls in the 100-meter dash. And I cleaned up. There was one girl, the coach's daughter, was a little bit quicker than me. But in some other races, we were head to head, or I beat her here, she beat me here. But I ran the 100-meter. I ran the 400-meter, and I killed it. Every 400-meter, especially my senior year, I dominated. I was the fastest 400-meter at my school, and I killed all the local high schools. I killed them. Then with the 4x4, I was the last man on the leg. So I was quick. I was so quick. I'll give you guys a short little story. My senior year of high school, I was so excited to run. I was not in shape. So that junior year, when I was in my junior year, I was in summer school, but I also asked, I've taken some summer school classes, but I asked to be with the cross-country coach. I asked her if I could run with her and her team, not to be part of the team, but just for training purposes, until track season started in January, February. And cross-country started, like, I think at the end of May, June, so just the hottest time of the year, and this was the summertime. So I spent my whole summer, my senior year, running like crazy. I was the slowest person on the cross-country team, just, working out with the girls. But by the time we hit like January, I was toned, I was cut, I had abs. And once track started for the girls, like we had to do preliminary, we had to do little tryouts. I killed it because I was already in shape. But yeah, that's just my thing. That's what I'm saying. I always have a love and passion for running, for track, for cross country. Especially for triathlons and those type of things. So I am excited to see that, especially the track girls. So I'm very, very excited. But yeah, just wanted to share my little story. This is concerning. This is this is real random. But yeah, tell me your thoughts down below. I'll see you guys for the next video, okay?